November 20th, 1943, 0900 hours. Coral Reef, 1,000 yards offshore from WWII Island, Tarawa Atoll. Private First Class James Russell, 19 years old, from Texas, stands in an LCVP, landing craft, vehicle, personnel, that has stopped moving. The craft is supposed to carry Russell and 35 other Marines to the beach, discharge them, and return for more troops. Instead, the craft has grounded on a coral reef. The coxswain tries to back off the reef. The engine roars. The propeller churns water, but the craft doesn't move. They're stuck, 700 yards from the beach, in chest-deep water, under Japanese fire. The coxswain shouts, "You've got to get out! I can't get any closer!" The craft's ramp drops. Russell looks at the water ahead, blue-green, deceptively beautiful, with Japanese machine gun bullets kicking up white splashes. The Marine in front of Russell, a corporal whose name Russell doesn't know, steps off the ramp into the water. He takes 3 steps. A burst of machine gun fire strikes him in the chest. He falls forward into the water. The water around his body turns red. Russell has 2 choices: stay in the landing craft, which is taking fire and might sink, trapping everyone inside, enter the water, and walk 700 yards toward a beach where Japanese defenders are firing from prepared positions. There's no good choice. Russell steps into the water. It's chest deep, his rifle held overhead to keep it dry, his 60-pound combat pack dragging him down. He begins walking toward the beach. Around him, other Marines are doing the same. Hundreds of men wading through water, unable to run, unable to take cover, just walking slowly toward enemy machine guns. Some Marines make it 100 yards before being hit. Some make it 200 yards, some drown, wounded and unable to stay afloat with heavy equipment. Russell walks for 20 minutes, the longest 20 minutes of his life, before reaching the beach. He's one of the lucky ones. Of the 36 Marines who left the landing craft with Russell, only 18 reached the beach alive. And reaching the beach doesn't mean safety. The beach is a killing zone, a narrow strip of sand 15 feet wide, backed by a 4-foot seawall, with Japanese bunkers firing from 50 yards away. Marines huddle behind the seawall, pinned down, unable to advance. This is Tarawa, the first opposed amphibious landing in the Central Pacific. The landing that was supposed to take 1 day with light casualties. Instead, it will take 76 hours and cost 3,797 American casualties, making it the bloodiest battle per square foot in Marine Corps history. And the lessons learned at Tarawa, written in the blood of 106 dead Marines, will change how America conducts amphibious operations for the rest of the war. If you're finding this story gripping, subscribe to World War II Shadows. We uncover the battles history forgot, the weapons that changed wars, and the crews who flew missions no one thought possible. To understand Tarawa, we need to understand its strategic context. By November 1943, American strategy in the Pacific consists of 2 parallel offensives: MacArthur's Southwest Pacific, advancing through New Guinea toward Philippines; Nimitz's Central Pacific, island hopping across the Pacific directly toward Japan. Tarawa is Nimitz's first major objective in the Central Pacific Offensive. Why Tarawa matters. Tarawa Atoll, a coral atoll in the Gilbert Islands, contains an airfield on WWII Island. Japanese aircraft operating from Tarawa can threaten American shipping and air operations in the region. Capturing Tarawa gives America forward airbase for operations against Marshall Islands, proof that Central Pacific island hopping strategy is viable. Experience an amphibious assault doctrine. The target, WWII Island. WWII is a tiny coral island, length 1 mile west to east, width 600 yards at widest point. Total area 0.14 square miles, smaller than most shopping malls. But WWII is heavily fortified. Japanese garrison, 4,500 troops, 2,000 Rikusentai, naval infantry, 100 construction and support troops, fortifications, 500-plus concrete bunkers and pillboxes, 40-plus artillery and anti-boat guns, extensive trench systems, beach obstacles, barbed wire, coral barricades, mines, 4-foot seawall running length of beach. Commander, Rear Admiral Keiji Shibasaki, who boasted, "1 million Americans couldn't take Tarawa in 100 years." American commanders know Betio is fortified but underestimate the strength of defenses. American plan: Phase 1, D3 to D1, 3 days of naval bombardment to destroy Japanese fortifications. Phase 2, D-Day, 0830 hours, Amphibious assault. 3 battalions land simultaneously on northern beaches. Red Beach 1, Red Beach 2, Red Beach 3. Phase 3, D-Day, 1200 hours. Secure beachhead, advance inland, capture airfield. Phase 4, Deploy 1. Island secured, begin airfield reconstruction. Expected casualties: 500 killed, 100 wounded. Actual casualties: 1,996 killed, 2,001 wounded. The plan fails catastrophically because of one factor American planners didn't adequately consider: the Reef. November 20th, 1943, 0545 hours. Naval bombardment begins. Battleships, cruisers, and destroyers fire on Betio. For 2 hours, American ships fire thousands of shells at the tiny island. The bombardment creates an apocalyptic scene. Continuous explosions, pillars of smoke, coral dust obscuring everything. At 0825 hours, 5 minutes before scheduled landing, the bombardment lifts. American commanders believe nothing could have survived. They're wrong. Japanese bunkers, built with steel-reinforced concrete, coconut logs, and coral, survived the bombardment largely intact. The bombardment destroyed some lighter structures and killed some defenders, but the main defensive positions remain operational. 0830 hours, first wave lands. 3 battalions approach the beaches and 125 landing craft. The plan calls for landing craft to cross the reef, reach the beach, discharge Marines, and return for follow-on waves. But the landing craft are LCVPs, designed for European operations where beaches have gradual slopes. Tarawa's Reef is different. The island is surrounded by a coral reef, a natural barrier 1,000 yards offshore. At high tide, the reef has 4 to 5 feet of water over it, enough for landing craft to cross. At low tide, the reef has only 2 to 3 feet of water, too shallow for landing craft, which need 4 feet draft. American planners predicted high tide at 0830 hours on November 20th, but they miscalculated, using tidal charts that didn't account for local conditions. Actual tide at 0830 hours, neap tide, low tide, the reef has only 3 feet of water. Landing craft ground on the reef, unable to reach the beach. Of 100 feet, 125 landing craft in the first 3 waves. 48 reached the beach, lucky, caught deeper channels. 77 ground on the reef, 1,000 plus yards from beach. Marines in the grounded craft face an impossible situation. Option 1, stay in craft, which is taking fire and may sink. Option 2, wade to shore, 700, 1,000 yards through chest-deep water under fire. Most choose option 2, the wade to shore. Marines wearing 60, 80-pound combat loads step into chest-deep water and begin wading toward beaches they can barely see through smoke and dust. Japanese machine gunners and artillery observers on Betio have clear fields of fire. They direct concentrated fire on the Marines wading through water. The Marines cannot run. Water is too deep. They cannot take cover. There's no cover in open water. They can only walk slowly toward the beach, hoping not to be hit. Some Marines make it. Many don't. Private Russell, who we met at the beginning, describes the wade. I walked for what felt like hours, but was probably 15-20 minutes. Men around me were getting hit, falling into the water, screaming, drowning with their heavy packs. I kept my rifle over my head and just walked. I didn't think about anything except taking the next step. When I finally reached the beach, I collapsed behind the seawall. Only then did I realize half my platoon was gone, dead in the water or missing. By 1,000 hours, 90 minutes after H hour, approximately 100 Marines have reached the beaches. Approximately 300 Marines are dead, most killed wading from the reef. Another 200 are wounded. The Marines who reach the beach are pinned down, unable to advance beyond the seawall. The landing is on the verge of complete failure. Red Beach 1, 2, and 3, the 3 landing beaches, all face the same situation. Marines huddled behind a 4-foot seawall, taking fire from Japanese bunkers 50 to 100 yards inland, unable to advance. The seawall, built by Japanese as a coastal defense feature, provides the only cover on the beach, but it's also a trap. Marines can't stay behind the seawall indefinitely. Japanese will counterattack or simply maintain fire until Marines run out of ammunition. Marines can't advance over the seawall. Anyone who exposes themselves is immediately shot. The tactical problem: how to suppress Japanese bunkers enough to allow Marines to advance. Solution requires combined arms. Tanks. Sherman tanks fitted with special waterproofing land on the beaches, providing mobile firepower to suppress bunkers. Engineers, combat engineers with explosives and flamethrowers, clear bunkers individually. Infantry. Riflemen suppress Japanese firing positions while engineers work. But executing this combined arms assault on Betio's tiny beaches, under constant fire, with limited room to maneuver, requires extraordinary courage and coordination. The breakthrough, Red Beach 3. Major Michael Ryan commands a composite force of approximately 400 Marines on Red Beach 3, the westernmost landing beach. Ryan recognizes that frontal assault over the seawall is suicide. Instead, he orders flanking maneuver, advance west along the beach, parallel to seawall, reach the island's western tip, then turn inland, bypassing the strongest Japanese positions. The maneuver works. By 1400 hours, 5 hours after landing, Ryan's force has advanced to Betio's western tip and established a foothold inland. It's the first significant American penetration of Japanese defenses. The breakthrough, Red Beach 2, Colonel David Shoup, commanding 2nd Marines, lands on Red Beach 2 at 1100 hours, 3 hours after H hour, delayed because his landing craft was hit. Shoup gas chaos. Marines pinned down behind seawall, communication with other beaches broken, casualties mounting, officers uncertain whether to continue attack or withdraw. Shoup restores order through personal leadership. He walks the beach under fire, organizing Marines into assault groups. He coordinates tank infantry teams to attack bunkers. He radios for naval gunfire support, directing destroyers to fire on specific Japanese positions. Shoup's leadership, under continuous fire, wounded multiple times, prevents the landing from collapsing entirely. Shoup will later receive the Medal of Honor and become Commandant of the Marine Corps. By 1800 hours, D-Day evening, American situation. 5,000 Marines ashore. Beachhead established but confined to narrow strip along beach. 1,500 plus casualties. Japanese defenses still largely intact. The landing has succeeded in getting troops ashore, but the battle is far from won. D-Day, November 20th, to D-Pool 3, November 23rd. 76 hours of continuous combat. The battle becomes a systematic reduction of Japanese fortifications, clearing bunkers one by one, advancing yard by yard. November 21st, D-Pool 1. Marines begin methodical advance inland, Amphibious. Each bunker must be attacked individually. Step 1. Infantry suppresses bunker with rifle fire. Step 2. Tank advances to bunker, fires 75mm gun at point blank. Range. Attempting to penetrate bunker or seal entrance. Step 3. Engineers approach with flamethrowers, fire napalm into bunker through firing slits. Step 4. Engineers throw satchel charges, 20-pound explosive bags, into bunker, detonate. Step 5. Infantry enters bunker to confirm all defenders dead. This process takes 30-60 minutes per bunker. Betio has 500 plus bunkers. The math is brutal. Clearing the island will take days and cost thousands of casualties. Private Russell's squad attacks a bunker on November 21st. His account: "We approached a bunker that looked like a concrete mound with a narrow slit. The tank fired 3 rounds directly into the slit. We thought that would kill everyone inside. Then Private Garcia approached with a flamethrower. He fired through the slit, 50 feet of flame going into the bunker. We heard screaming. Then Garcia threw in a satchel charge. Huge explosion. We thought it was over, but when we entered to check, we found 7 dead Japanese, and 3 more in a lower level we didn't know existed. They came up shooting. Garcia was killed. 2 more Marines wounded before we killed the Japanese. That's how it was. Every bunker was a fight." November 22nd, Deeps 2. Marines control about 2/3 of Betio. Japanese forces, reduced to approximately 100 effectives, are compressed into the island's eastern tail. At 0300 hours, Japanese launch counterattack, a desperate banzai charge attempting to break through marine lines and reach the beaches. Approximately 300 Japanese charge Marine positions. Marine defensive fire, rifles, machine guns, artillery, kills most of the attackers. A few Japanese reach Marine positions. Hand-to-hand combat ensues. By 0430 hours, the counterattack is repulsed. Japanese casualties, approximately 250 killed. American casualties, 45 killed, 128 wounded. The counterattack was the last organized Japanese offensive action at Tarawa. November 23rd, D+3, afternoon, Marines secure the eastern tip of Betio. Organized Japanese resistance ends. At 13:12 hours, Colonel Shoup radios, Betio secured. 76 hours after landing, the battle is over. Tarawa was the bloodiest battle per square foot of territory in Marine Corps history. Final casualties, American forces, 2nd Marine Division, 1,696 killed or died of wounds, 21 wounded. Total, 367 casualties out of 18,000 engaged, 21% casualty rate. Killed to wounded ratio, 45% killed, normally 20-25%, indicating severity of combat Japanese forces. 4,090 killed, entire garrison, 17 captured, 0.4% survival rate, almost no survivors, 129 Korean laborers captured, forced labor, not combatants. Result, American victory, but at shocking cost. Public reaction, photos and film footage from Tarawa showing hundreds of American bodies on the beaches shocked the American public. Time magazine published graphic photos with the caption, "This is the price of a beachhead." Some Americans, in a '93 interview commemorating Tarawa's 50th anniversary, Russell said, "People ask, was Tarawa worth it? 1,700 Marines died for a tiny island, but if we hadn't learned those lessons at Tarawa, 10,000 Marines would have died at Iwo Jima and 15,000 at Okinawa. Sometimes you have to pay a price in blood to learn. Tarawa was that price. I wish we'd learned another way, but we didn't, so those 100 Marines didn't die for nothing. They died so that thousands more could live." November 20th, 23rd, 1943. 76 hours on a coral island smaller than a shopping mall. 3,797 American casualties. 490 Japanese dead, for an island most Americans had never heard of and couldn't find on a map. Tarawa shocked America. Graphic photos of dead Marines piled on beaches forced Americans to confront the war's brutal reality. But Tarawa also saved lives. The lessons written in blood on those beaches changed how America fought amphibious warfare. The Marines who died at Tarawa didn't capture strategic objectives or shorten the war. They died so that future Marines would know how to land on a defended beach and survive. These stories of sacrifice, tactical lessons, and the terrible cost of learning in combat deserve to be remembered. Subscribe so they never fade into history. Next time, 850 tanks, 12 hours, one field, the day that broke the Wehrmacht at Kursk.